What's up, gamers, and welcome to a new episode of Last Cloudia. Oh, this is one of my favorite times to be playing this game when there's some new stuff going on. We always love that. So, before we talk about the new stuff, I want to kind of briefly go over the most recent video from Adis. They basically spoiled the new character we're going to talk about, which is very interesting, so we'll get into that here in a moment. They've also spoiled that they're going to be doing an upgrade on Saintly Theria, which has actually been one of my favorite mages for a long time. Though the question is, what would they potentially be doing to upgrade her? Now, when she first dropped, I felt like she was one of those characters they went above and beyond for. He's pretty much the best light damage mage, period, and like way ahead of her time. And I didn't get her the first go around. I got her the second go around, and she was still powerful. She's just ridiculous. So the fact that they're giving her an increase, that's special because she's really, really fantastic as is. So what could they do to make someone that's really, really good even better? Now, the obvious thing that I think they're going to do is they're going to give her awakening up to 6 because right now you can only go up to 4. So that's probably the very bare minimum basic that they're going to do to, make her better. Now, what they might do is something similar to what they did with Eliza and Lanceville. What they did with them is they added some skills, and I think they could do the same thing to Theria. So, for example, they could give her a damage cap increase for light magic damage. That would help her be on par with Lily 2.0. If you were to do that, maybe give her the new top tier light spell. That would be another thing you can do. I would probably recommend something that will also let you get an interesting boost to the party, like something else. Because not only was she really good as far as just being a mage for, DPS, but she also had some good buffs for the party. So, some kind of spell she can cast to do a buff or something, or just like, something passive, who knows. But I think that those are just a few ideas that they can do to make her better. So I'm looking forward to that update more than a lot of the other things that they talked about. They also talked about multiplayer. They've been off and on mentioning and doing some demos of the multiplayer. I think it's a cool idea, but I don't really have much to say about it because I don't know what if the rewards are going to be worth it. Are you going to be able to partner with people through, I don't know, your friends list, or is it just going to be randoms? So it's going to be interesting. We'll see. I have to wait on my comments on how that's going to be. And then in the past, they've also mentioned the potential subscription. That's another thing I actually am looking forward to. I actually love the idea of like a subscription or VIP service in a game where you pay, for example, $9.99, for some good stuff a month. Maybe daily bonuses, maybe boosting stats on an event. Just random stuff that they can do. So I'm looking forward to seeing what ideas they come up with, because every game does a little something different. And yes, I have been in the background hitting up Lily, trying to make her better. Still got a little ways to go. She's not really awakened 4 quite yet. I've learned all of her skills, but that's pretty much the best that I've done. I don't really have any great gear on her yet, so she's a work in progress. There is a specific item that I'm grinding for on a specific arc. It's the one that I'll look it up actually real quick. Oh yeah, she's equipped with it. I'm actually working on getting this to 100% so that I can get the equipment that comes with it, which is the Heaven's Cry. I'm going to actually put that on her just to make her damage even more ridiculous than it already is. Alright, so now that I've kind of chatted your ears off for a bit about nothing, let's go ahead and talk about the new stuff. And we're going to do a multiple as well. Not using the paid banner, we're just going to use the regular non-paid stuff, so we're not doing a step up this time. I may or may not do the step up on the side. I haven't really decided yet. But let's first talk about what we're looking at. I'm hitting the wrong button. Alright, Cyberslayer Alice, aka Boss Slayer Alice. That's right. I did look at her earlier this morning, and she's a very interesting character. So, looking at her stats here, she has 1,085 strength, which is, the 1000 basic that you would need minimum for a physical DPS, so that's not bad. Lots of hit points, 5600 is really good. Lots of defense, 1256, really good. So she's going to be basically an off tank. So as we go through the abilities and skills, you'll see why. I mean, look at that, high strength, high defense, but she doesn't do like the whole guard thing. She could just take damage without even trying. But anyway, the other interesting thing about her too is if you look at her ailment resistances, she's literally immune to 4 different status ailments. Now the trade-off here is that she's weak to blind and stun, which makes sense because she's a machine. So you put something in front of her, she's not going to see, or shock her. Like I said, it's what you would expect from a machine, an android, whatever you want to call her. But they built her really well in that. I mean, for the fact that she's immune to a lot of stuff is really strong. She also has, elemental resistance to everything except thunder. Surprise, surprise. Makes perfect sense. This is like the textbook makes perfect sense build. I'm actually happy to see that they finally made a machine in this game. Now, granted, we do have them, but it's like a monster one. But we actually have like a main character machine. Like, I'm actually looking forward to that because it's about time that we have a character other than Robin that can naturally equip machines. There might be another character that can, but it's probably a character I don't use. Alright, so let's take a look at some abilities here. Now, when you look at the abilities, it's basically light damage all across the board. So you know what her main element is going to be. That's a good thing. The one thing that's going to be the most important here is her special catastrophe, powerful light combo attack against all enemies. It's going to be very specifically. Sorry, let me rephrase that. This is the specific thing you want to focus on, is her special. You'll see why. Let's take a look at her traits. Limiter release, special fill rate 20%, and Slayer mode special damage 120%, and special damage cap 15,000. That's right, 15k, which is a lot. You might think, am I going to really be able to get that much damage? Well, we'll find out eventually. So that right there is just kind of a hint that she's going to be more focused on specials than anything else. But let's see what else she's got. Trait number 2, Crisis Prevention System. When close to death, automatically use 10% of your max MP to gradually recover HP. Chance to temporarily make receive damage minus 35%, and evade physical attacks once per wave. Pretty strong ability. This is one of the reasons I said she's kind of an off tank. She's someone that mainly focuses on some DPS. However, she can dodge. She can take the hits. She's really got it going on there. That's why she's an off tank. Because there are people that are specifically made for tanking, like you could say Lanceville, for example, or even Melza. But this character, even though she can take, her main function is to do a ton of damage with her special. So that's why she's an off tank. But really good. Let's take a look at the actual skills. So we're going to start with Ether Full Release. Costs 200 MP. Basically, use all MP to greatly restore the unit's HP and fully restore the unit's SCT. Now, one thing I don't know if I mentioned it the last time we had a skill that had a certain cost but used all your MP. The reason that there's a cost to begin with is because what the game is trying to tell you is that in order to use this particular spell, you have to have a minimum of 200 left. Otherwise, you can't use it at all. And that's basically what it means. So if you have 199, you're not going to be able to use it because you don't have enough to get it started, even though it used all your MP. So basically, it's just what you have to have available before you can use it, is what that means. But, fully restoring the unit's SCT, the reason that this is going to be good is because of the fact that, again, you're trying to get to her special, and this will pretty much get you there. So there you go. You also have active Slayer mode. Whoop, that's not it. So active Slayer mode. Activate Slayer mode temp SCT recovery speed 15%. Skills, special, use HP for 35% damage. So basically, you sacrifice your hit points to deal more damage. So this is part of her goal to get that 15k cap. when she's doing her specials. This is part of it. So the fact that you're going to be losing hit points as you're doing all of this is not a big deal, and you'll see why. And again, lots of defense, so you'll see what we're talking about. Resolve up 3, so this is none of those combination stats. So you're getting defense and mind plus 8%. Like I said, she shrugs them. She also has Resolve up 5, which basically gives you a 12% increase to defense and mind. She comes with Proud Force, which is part of the reason you can deal with taking damage by doing your skills and stuff because she's going to be healing them. Now, obviously, you're going to want to equip, all of the crit up package that you would normally equip on most of your DPS characters. So just don't forget to do that. Or you can do auto crit, you can do fast crit, or you can do crit up 1, 2, 3. So there's definitely different ways that you can up the chances of her critting. You're just going to have to pay for it, is all it is. Anti-physical armor, chance to negate physical damage. I mean, there you go. Shrugging again. Like I said, she's tanking like it's crazy. Well, not really trying to. She also comes with auto protection and auto barrier. So this basically just stops physical and magic damage to a certain percentage. Pretty good. She also comes with auto haste, which makes perfect sense. The whole goal is to get to your special, and haste is what gets you there. So there you go. We're stacking and stacking. She's got patience, which is all right. Light attack raise, light critical raise, so those are both good. So if you happen to have the arc that has light critical raise, or sorry, light raise 2, or light attack raise 2, you can just keep stacking those to help deal more damage. So that's something you want to work on as well. She has blessed speed, which is, always good to have. I'm a huge fan of piercing personally, specifically when you're dealing with bosses. I think that's such a necessity. She comes with dual wield, which is just convenient. Why not? She comes with sword boost, sword high boost, with machine boost and machine high boost. It's rare when you see any character with 2 different boosts on the offense side. Now, we've seen it with, like, sword boost and like armor boost or whatever. Like some of the tankier characters have that, but to have a character with 2 different boosts offensively, that's something special. So when I look at this is what I'm thinking as an idea. So you want a sword, probably some kind of holy sword like the one that you can get from the Roland arc. So if you got that one, I have that one myself. I think it's El Giovanni. You have that sword. That could be a holy sword that you can give to her. And then as far as the machine, I think the number one thing everyone's going to go for is Covert Gun Trishula, which is arguably the best item you can get from an SSR arc. I'd say it's at least top 5, if nothing else. So just imagine being able to have both of those without having to actually, use machine equip like everybody else does with other characters. I do it with Kohaku. You could just naturally equip Trishula, naturally equip the Zelbia sword or whatever it's called, and they're just taking the damage. You're not resisting the element, you're just taking the damage. So that's an idea that you can do for the dual wield, because again, you don't have to do machine equip because she already has it. And she's got the boost for sword and machine. So, like I said, you want the strongest swords and Trishula. There are other machines you could use as well, but I think Trishula is the main one you should go for if you have it. And if not, you can get it from an arc if you level it up high enough. Alright, moving along. I spent too much time talking about that, but I thought it was very important. Ultimate Boost and Ultimate Boost 2. So number 1 is your special power goes up by 20%, and number 2 it goes up by 30%. So you're getting a 50% boost on top of the other boosts you're already getting. Pretty ridiculous already. Charge Special. So Boss Wave start. Special gauge plus 25%. It just keeps going up. So you're going to be getting your special up super quick. Super duper quick. And there's only a few characters that can get it up pretty fast. I think she's probably going to be the fastest when it comes to getting to your special. You also have Activate Combat Program, Battlestar Autocast, Brave, Speed, and Critical. So, alright, so you're already getting critical off of this, and it continues until incapacitated. Which basically means until you're dead. So, I guess you don't have to do auto crit when you got this. So all you need is crit 1, 2, and 3, and you should be pretty good. I would also recommend doing um, the abilities that where your crit damages do more. I forgot what they're called, but you know what it is. Auto Slayer mode. Now, Auto Slayer mode, this is what Active Slayer mode does. I think it, let's see. Yeah, it activates Slayer mode, so you can either pay for it with MP or you can just have it automatically casted. So Battlestar activate Slayer mode, and Slayer mode is basically the temporary SCT recovery speed, 50%, all that good stuff. So again, 100% focus on getting that special. And also keep in mind that this is something that gives you a boost when you're up against bosses. Literally a boss layer. This is the kind of character you're going to want to use for, let's say that machine fight I talked about the last time to get Ray's Claw, the 7-star item, which is fantastic, by the way. I use it with Ray, and oh man, he's so good with it. But anyway, if you haven't been able to beat that boss, this is the character that you can use to help with that. You can also fight that big plant thing that splits itself up. It's a really annoying boss fight, but it could be good there too. Like I said, she is going to be like the best boss killer in the game, at least as of right now. There are a few characters that are pretty good against bosses, but none is going to compare to this character because she specializes in boss killing. So that's why she's going to be a very good character to pull because she's going to get you through certain content that would otherwise be very difficult. It'll be easier for you to actually plan a good team around it rather than having to think too much about it. So this is just going to put you in almost easy mode. I'd say maybe normal mode, if you will. You'll turn a very hard boss into a medium kind of boss. So yeah, that makes her a really good character. I don't know if she's going to be great in PvP. I'm not. If I get her, I'm not really planning on doing anything with her in PvP. I would specifically just build her up just to deal with bosses, and that's pretty much it. Maybe run her in the tower, maybe. And I only say that is because there are some like big bosses, but I don't know if she'll be necessary for that specifically. But it's worth testing if nothing else. But overall, a good character. I don't know if I want to put her in the highest tier just because I don't think she's good in every mode, but she is still pretty high up there. She's still pretty good, so I wouldn't mind getting her. I'm not going to really be pulling like heavy on the banner though, because I like the character, but I'm kind of okay with what I have. Let's take a look at this arc, Killing Machines. All right, so let's look at the attribute. Strength plus 15%. Boost physical attack damage to enemy based on how many enemies share its type. 5% per enemy, including the target, maximum 30%. So the more of a specific type, the more damage you're going to deal up to 30%, which is pretty good. Boost special based on skill stock. 5% per stock, maximum 50%. So all those stock skill abilities that we have now, that I've only seen useful for one character. Well, now there's an arc that makes it useful as well. So, just talking about the attributes itself, this looks like a type of arc that you'll probably use specifically in things like the tower, where there's a lot of the same stuff. This is going to be very, very strong in the tower. So I like this arc already, and I haven't even looked at anything else. So definitely a good tower thing. Now, the actual skills you can learn is Mimicry Machine, surprise, surprise. Stock Skill 1, surprise, surprise. Machine Boost, which is something we don't have in any arc, if I'm not mistaken. I think this is the first arc to have it. I think that's really good. So let's say, for example, you don't pull this character. And a lot of people aren't going to pull it because, let's be honest, we've had so many just DOH characters get, shot off back to back. Not everyone's going to have a lot to push for this. Or not everyone's just going to get lucky. So Machine Boost will be good for you, especially if you're running Covert Gun Trishula. That means that you can use this boost, which will cost 4, and your Trishula will actually deal more damage. So that's actually a good thing to have. If I do get this arc, I plan on doing Machine Boost to more than likely Kohaku, since she's the one that runs Trishula, or anyone else I decide to give it to in the future. Head Bash, which is a ability I like a lot. Power Circulation. Now this is different. When using special, auto cast Brave and Fort. So this is something that you can give to Alice, But at the same time, there are other characters that you can give it to as well. I think Balin might be good with it because I think that he also specializes in somewhat boss killing. Basically, he specializes in killing like big things, which are typically bosses. So you give it to Balin, that's a big deal. And I definitely think Balin's a great character. So that there's already someone that this goes to if you don't get the new character. Ultimate Boost 2, which we talked about earlier with Alice. So power specials 30%. So again, if you don't get Alice, you can still get the benefits of some of her abilities like Ultimate Boost and Machine Boost. So that's pretty cool. And of course, power circulation. So this is actually a really, really good arc so far. Let's take a look at the item that you can get, the Zeal Tech God Core. So this is an accessory that is 6 stars, strength 71, defense 14, mind 12. When HP is 50% or lower, physical attack damage plus 15% once per wave. I'll say it's a decent item. And the reason I say decent is because the 71 strength is what makes it good. Because it's an accessory, so you don't expect to have a lot of strength. And 71 to an accessory is actually not bad. The actual ability itself is going to be good for any physical DPS character, really. I mean, you're doing, boss fights, you're doing tower, you're going to be in even arena. Your HP is going to get low. You want to make sure that you can deal more damage. Why not? So, yeah, this is not a bad item. This is really not. Like I said, the strength boost is worth it. And then the actual trait is just an added bonus. So, overall, good. I'm not going to say it's one of like the top best items you can get out of an arc, but I still think it's good. So, overall, this is a good arc. Really good arc, specifically for the traits. But you have a couple of cool things you can learn, and the item itself is actually decent. So, this to me is an actual top tier arc just because everything about it is actually good. As a matter of fact, I'm almost would rather have the arc than the character. And that's not saying anything bad about the character because she's good too. The only reason I'm not as hype about her is because I just have a lot of good characters right now, and I'm barely trying to get all of them taken care of. So it's just one of those things. So if I don't pull her, no big deal. But what we're gonna do now is we're gonna go ahead and do a multi-pull, and then after we do the multi-pull, we'll see if there's any paid weapons or paid accessories, and we'll talk about it. All right, so let's go ahead and do. This is the free one, right? Oh yeah, it is cool. Because I don't have enough paid, so let's see. But yeah, I'm pushing for the arc. That's what I want. Now, am I going to be pushing aggressively on this banner? Probably not. Knowing that Christmas is coming around the corner, I'm probably going to be saving it for whatever comes up later. So the paid stuff that I have, I'm probably not going to use. All right, so the squad was there, so let's see what happens. So we expect it to be yellow. Oh, it's red. So let's see what we get here. We got 2 opportunities. Well, that's not bad. And we got another arc. All right, so an extra Robin's not terrible, and an SSR arc that I have is all right, just because I don't have it at max, so that means I could potentially get the item for it. So I'm not disappointed. I'm really not. I wasn't gonna be pushing, like I said, on this banner anyway. This was more just for you guys. But let's talk about the paid stuff that you can get for this particular character. So we're going to the marketplace. All right, thank you for the update. All right, so I guess we'll have the hero credentials. Okay, so we have the Halo Blade Lusulia. All right, so this is going to be a 5-star weapon. And actually, before I continue, what I've noticed lately with a lot of these weapons, paid or not, a lot of these 5-star items that the game has nowadays are actually better than a lot of the 6-star items we had in the beginning. I just thought that was interesting. If y'all noticed that, I think I've seen that. But anyway, so strength 166, which is good. Light attribute, sword, defense 31, mind 24. Alice only, character or chance for physical attack damage 50%. Physical attack damage cap 500. Slayer mode, physical attack damage cap 500 more. So basically, when you activate Slayer, instead of just being 500, it ends up being 1,000 more. So overall, a decent item. It has a decent strength stat. It's all about pushing for that damage and that damage cap. Nothing wrong with this item. This is what you would expect for her. But how about the tech suit oh god, Salux? I don't know. It's probably like a fancy French word or something. But anyway, so this is a 5-star item, a cloth. Alice only. Lower chance to take critical attacks. Continuous MP regeneration. 2 MP each time. Like per time. So every time that you regenerate, you get 2 MP specifically. And I think if they say it like that because I think the other abilities that regenerate MP do it at a different rate. They don't specify. So, they're at least specifying here. So the HP is plus 500, strength 36, defense 92, mind 41. So overall, it's an okay item. If she was a mage, no, never mind. I get it. Because of the fact that she's gonna be, well, no, she's losing HP when she uses her skills, not MP, right? So, yeah, because you're gonna probably. That's right. So this is why you want this. So her abilities, when she's almost dead, she has to use up all of her MP to, get all those boosts. And then you want to let your MP regenerate so that you can do other things with it. Also, if you're a Sharp Eyes runner, this could also help with that too. So there's actually some good usage for this. The only thing that's weird is it makes it to where you're not going to want to dual wield then, because if you're wearing a cloth, that means you're not using a second weapon. So this is what I would call a debatable item, just because of the fact that she already has dual wield. And are there any characters that have dual wield naturally that you're not dual wielding with? And do you think this is worth not equipping a second weapon? Now, I think this is So I think this is a decent item in general. This is a decent piece of clothing. It's not bad, but is it worth it? Like, personally, I still think the strongest thing you could possibly do is have a sword and the Covert Gun Trishula. I don't think there's really any better combination than that. And as far as a specific sword, that could be your flavor. But to have this instead of 2 weapons, personally, I don't think it's worth it. But, it just depends on how you want to build it. You don't have to do dual wield. Just because a character has dual wield doesn't mean that you have to have 2 weapons. You can still equip clothing or armor or whatever the case may be, depending on what that character is allowed to wear. So you can do it. The question is it worth it? And if you are going to do it, you're probably going to do it just for the sake of having continuous MP generation. Because the other thing too, and this is something that someone else posted on my channel as well, this particular piece of clothing basically covers for her weakness. If you notice, her thunder resistance goes up by 40. Now, if you remember when I was talking about her earlier, I think her negative was 40. So this basically balances her out to where she's not completely weak towards thunder. So you're kind of covering up some bases. And look at that. You got resistance to both thunder and blind. So this is what this particular item is. So I think I know a person that might actually like this idea, just because this is the kind of item that makes up for all of her downsides. And even with the MP part, now that I think about it, because the downside is a lot of what she does use up a lot of her MP. This is a way to not have to worry about it. So if you don't like the downsides of that character and you want her to just have no weakness whatsoever, this is the item for you. So this is why this could potentially be a good item for her. But again, it's a matter of your own style. If you want to get rid of all of her weaknesses, this is it. If you don't care and you just want to get as much damage as you can, then I would recommend a good sword in Trishula. 100%. And you know what? Let's say you don't have Trishula and it's going to take you a while to get it. Are there any other recommendations I can give you? Well, let's take a look. So we'll go to weapons. Now you can always filter. So we'll filter by machine because that's what you have. So now this particular thing you might not have because you have to get it from a specific event. So a lot of people might not have this if you're new to the game or didn't participate in that event. But this is a very strong sword that also is, I'm sorry, it's a very strong machine that is light element, which is her element. So this would not be a bad thing. And look at this, magic skill and special damage to undead plus 5%. So what this means now, this is a paladin series weapon, and I'll talk about that in a minute. But the thing the key in here is a special damage to undead. She is a character that focuses on special damage. So if you're fighting an undead boss, this just makes that particular boss more easy for you to destroy. So that's pretty cool. And you're getting MP plus 30, which also helps with some of the MP stuff that she has. So this is actually an interesting number two item if you don't have the gun and you do want to dual wield a sword and a machine. And now keep in mind, you don't have to do a machine at all. You could just do two swords, or you could do two machines. There's a lot of things you can do with her. So don't think you have to do one and the other. You can just literally do just one, like two of the same type of item. But this is an interesting thing. And now, as far as the Paladin series, if you happen to have three of these, you get the what's it called? Basically, one of your skill stocks will be ready to use right from the start of battle. Oh, quick trigger. There you go. You get quick trigger if you're equipping three of these. I don't know if it's worth doing that for her. I don't remember what the other paladin items do, so you can look that up for yourself. Now, obviously, this is what I recommend for those who don't know what I'm talking about. This is the Covert Gun for Shula, 156 strength, also light attribute. I forgot about that part. If damage is originally reduced due to enemy's attribute resistance, ignore attribute resistance. Very, very strong item. Super strong. So, this is the item that I would highly recommend if you want to go that route. Just so if the person is resistant to your element, you don't have to worry about it. Now, this is the item I think we got at the most recent event. I didn't max it out. I just didn't get enough. I focused on the shield one. I got that maxed, and then I used what I had left to do this as much as I could. So it's not completely maxed, but 136 strength, still pretty good. Battle start, I get auto cast strength plus 23%. It's okay. Again, if you're just trying to go for lots of damage, this is an idea if you happen to have it leveled high enough. And don't think the 4-star items are bad. Like a lot of the 4-star items in this game are actually pretty decent. Weapons, accessories, clothing, some of those are pretty good too, and used for very specific purposes. So don't think that just because something's 4-star doesn't mean it's bad. Now this is a dark attribute, strength and intelligence. Looks like you can make them faint with normal attacks. It's okay, but I don't think that I would use it personally. You also have a ninja star, which is potentially blind an enemy, no big deal. So I think we're getting into. Oh, here's something that might be good here. Strength 102 for the Lucilian. Physical attacks have a chance to temporarily inflict strength, intelligence, defense, and mind minus 10%. So if you're trying to get rid of a boss, this is a potentially decent thing. And like I said, I'm just giving you ideas. I'm not saying they're necessarily recommendations. I probably wouldn't recommend that though, because there's no special thing with it. Yeah, so now we're getting into the weapons, or yeah, the stuff that's not really great. So you do have a few options depending if you have this. And there are probably other machines I don't have, just because I haven't purchased everything in all of the shops yet. So there could be a few things I haven't looked at. And don't forget, you can also equip swords. So, you can think of a sword that you might like. This is the sword I was talking about earlier that you can equip. You can have one of this and one of the gun for Shula. So they were also light attribute, so that would be pretty cool. Crit rate and all that. Um, this is and this is not part of the Paladin series weapons, by the way. I know it looks like it, but it's not. But you have a light sword, 177 strength, additional light attribute to regular attacks. This is actually Melza's sword. So I have it specifically equipped to her just because I'm still a fan of Melza. But this is something that you could potentially use. I probably wouldn't recommend. Well, damage coming. Well, you could potentially use this. I don't know if you want to or not. It might not be necessary, but it's not bad either. So there, you definitely have options, right? That you can use depending on what your build is. Oh, here's a Paladin series weapon. So if you wanted to do the first thing I showed you, that was a machine on the machine side, you could also equip this as a second item, and this is assuming you played in that event. And this is another light attribute, strength 93, Paladin series. When physical attacking, low chance to greatly lower enemies' defense and deal damage. Physical damage. Oh, and don't forget the rest. Don't forget the rest of it. Oh, so this was the Angel and Fiend event that we got it from. So this is with the whole Lukiel and BB Shin. So if you played it now and you got all these items, this is actually probably where this would be much stronger is with that with Alice, because you can give her the Paladin brand if you have it, and then if we go back to the machines, and this is assuming you don't have better things to use. You could also give her this, which is also a Paladin series. So you already have 2 out of 3 Paladin stuff that you would need. So all you would need is one of the other Paladin stuff. So, yeah, while we're talking about it, let's just look it up. Let me just clear my filters here, just so I don't mess up later when I'm looking for stuff. I don't know if there's a Paladin armor. It would be gold if it's there, but I don't think there was one, or I didn't get it. It was part of the accessories, though. I don't think the accessories were great, but let's see. I'm trying to think. Okay, here's one. So Paladin series, this is the Greaves. So this was a strength plus 10, and then you got a status element recovery speed 30%, break damage plus 100%. Oh, that's an Angel and Fiend. Never mind. Forget that. So if you see this as Angel and Fiend, ignore that line because that will not apply. So status element recovery speed 30%. So if they put a status element on Alice, you would basically not be suffering as long. So that is an idea. That could be your third item. And I think there's another one that I have. I'm not sure. Maybe I passed it. Or maybe it doesn't exist. I don't know. Oh, here it is. The helmet. Basically, mine plus 5% recovery. Oh, magic. Okay, so no, this isn't any good. So now there might be a Paladin series armor. I just don't have it. But if there is an armor, and assuming she can equip armor, I don't know. That might be an idea if you want to go the Paladin series, thing with her. Because I honestly, they're both light attribute, which is what she is. And if you get a third thing, you can get skill triggers, meaning she starts the match off already being able to activate a skill. So, like I said, this is just an option if you played in that event and you don't have some of the stuff I recommended. And like I said, you could be creative. Just look at what you have and build her, however you want. So, very interesting though. Like I said, there's a lot of things you can do with her. She seems to be more versatile than I thought. So, like I said, just be creative. This is one of those characters that there's a lot you can do if you're creative enough. So let your creative juices flow. And I think that's going to be it for today. So once again, I thank you all for listening to this. I appreciate the fact that y'all take the time to watch these videos. I hope that I help you guys, with brainstorming, coming up with ideas. I really hope that I can help y'all. So this is why I'm here, just to help the community. So hopefully this, has done something for you. So until the next time we got some new stuff coming on, you guys keep gaming and take care. Later, everyone.